In my job, I'm in daily telephone contact with people all over the country, my country, Canada, and in particular with people at the main office of my company in Toronto, where, of course, the G20 summit took place today. And the riots broke out a few hours ago, the predictable riots. And whenever I see this sort of thing happening, it took place a while back in London, and it all started in Seattle, and then they had it. It's become a regular occurrence for the Black Bloc and any protest group imaginable to show up at these summit meetings. Generally, the overwhelming majority of the people that are demonstrating there are doing so peacefully. They just want to get noticed, and rightly so. Their causes generally are ones that at least people should be aware of, and it's a good way to get yourself into the eye of the entire world. But of course, there's always this group called the Black Bloc. Well, they're not really a group, but it's just, I guess, it's a tactic whereby people all dress up the same in black, and they're the people that throw things and try and break into the meeting and all this kind of thing. And they call themselves anarchists, and or assuming that they have any philosophy that they call themselves, I think it's anarchism that they most commonly identify with. Now, I wonder how exactly these people hope that they're going to advance the cause of anarchism. In fact, I often wonder if they even understand what anarchism actually is, if they understand the philosophy that they're supposedly acting violently in order to promote. I wonder if any of them have ever read Bakunin or Kropotkin, Proudhon, any of these writers, if they know anything about people like Ravachol, Vaillant, Emma Goldman, Émile Henry, or if they've studied the Spanish Barcelona anarchists or anything like this, if they understand the history of the movement or what anarcho-syndicalism is as opposed to just strict anarchism or whatever, because it just seems to me that this tactic of simply being destructive at every large meeting it has become an end in itself. It's just this little ritual that they play out every time that there's a large meeting, a large summit meeting of world leaders or anyone, bankers or whatever. And it's getting a little bit tiresome. I think people have been tired of it ever since Seattle. But now, it just goes into the regular pattern. They take on the police, they smash up shops, they act all riotous, and they fade back into the crowd because they've prepared uniforms, camouflage that they can immediately shed and blend into the crowd. Now, what this is exactly supposed to accomplish is beyond me. First of all, let's even look at what they would consider a success, i.e., if they somehow manage to force the police line, break through, get into the building where the meeting is taking place. What do they plan to do then? Okay, they plan to confront the leaders. Then what do they do? What do they expect from these leaders? I doubt that any of these people actually want to harm them, although I suppose you never know. What is it that they're attempting to do? And I don't think I'm the first person to have asked these questions. And it's also interesting to look at the way that the police have reacted to this. Speaking to the people that I know in Toronto, the head office of my company is down on King and Bay Street, right down in the red zone. When I was talking to people in Toronto over the last few days, they simply couldn't believe the number of cops that were out there from every possible level of police force, from the RCMP, the Mounties, all the way down to just the municipal police and everything in between. The reserve, or the Americans would call it the National Guard, and the British would call it the Territorials, were out in force. And the overwhelming impression of people until today was that the police were just moping around, bored out of their skulls. I think that they were rather disappointed that there wasn't a lot of violence, and when the Black Bloc decided to start throwing things and setting fire to things and smashing windows and everything, it kind of broke the monotony. This is how prepackaged and predictable this kind of anarchism has become. People are disappointed when it doesn't happen because it's something neat to watch on the news. How is that an act of revolt? How how is that an act of defiance against anything? I'm completely baffled by it. I actually had a conversation with somebody at one time, a long time ago. Again, it was someone who was self-identified as an anarchist. And we were actually discussing Seattle, and I said, listen, the whole thing is absurd that they're behaving like this, and it's pretty much the same thing as I'm saying right now. And I said, if you want to impress me, if you want to really see something anarchist take place in Seattle, if you really wanted to get everyone's attention, if you wanted to really rattle the establishment, get me a general strike. Show me that. Shut down all the restaurants in the vicinity. Shut down all the department stores, all the libraries, bookstores, all businesses, everything. Get everybody to just walk out into the streets. That is real anarchism. That's anarcho-syndicalist collective revolt, collective action. And the response was, oh, that will never happen. This is the only outlet that we do have, is to throw bricks and dodge tear gas canisters and take on the cops. And I said, essentially, and I still believe this, that is an act of abject capitulation, then, this business of taking on the riot police. You're basically saying that your movement has absolutely no chance whatsoever of any kind of mass appeal, so the only thing you can possibly do at that point is to sort of charge head-on, hopelessly, at the symbols of authority. That means that act of desperation means that you have no belief in the ultimate triumph of your cause. I still believe that. Not that I'm particularly sympathetic to anarchism, anarcho-syndicalism. It is a movement that's always fascinated me, especially historically, the Spanish and Barcelona anarchists, the Confederación Nacional de Trabajadores, the CNT in particular. It's something that's always fascinated me. But it, like I say, it's become so predictable and so silly even that I wonder now where this kind of subculture sees itself going. What next? What else are you going to do to try and bring your political philosophy into fruition? It's getting old. Oh, and by the way, just as a parting remark, how would people feel if every time there was a world summit of whatever bunch of leaders were gathering, a bunch of black-hooded, masked, and fully trained and organized Muslim rioters took on the police and acted in the same way? Think about that one. Thank you.